Most people come into crypto assuming that the market is all about intelligence. They think that if they learn more, then they'll earn more. But the market does not reward intelligence alone. It really rewards emotional stability. Before we get into anything specific, any different projects or different cryptos as a whole on this channel, I want to start the conversation with a more grounded focus. Consider this. Intelligence will help you find opportunities, but emotional preparedness is what determines whether you can hold them or not. Knowing what you're buying or what you've bought isn't the same as knowing why you bought it. And this brings me to an important point that needs to be addressed. Before you make any investment decisions, make sure that you understand what it is you're buying and why. I know this sounds like common sense, but it must be said. Too many people fall into the trap of seeing someone online turn $100 into $1 million and think they can just blindly follow that person or replicate that strategy without doing any real work. This is a losing game, and in the long run, it's much easier said than done. See, whenever you borrow someone else's conviction, you're setting yourself up for failure. When price drops, your favorite influencer goes quiet, and you're just left holding that bag. That borrowed conviction collapses the first time you see a red candle. And trust me, I've been there. I'm guilty of it, and that's why I'm talking to you about it now, hoping that I can help people avoid the same mistakes that I've made. Because crypto, by nature, is very volatile. It's very reactive to news, to geopolitical events, and to other variables that affect liquidity in markets. And this is especially true the further down the risk curve you go. Bitcoin, it's the biggest asset, the biggest crypto, and it's still volatile, but it's not nearly as volatile as a lot of altcoins. You get into the Ethereums, the Solanas, or even further down, Chainlink, Avalanche. A lot of these tokens are very volatile, very reactive to certain conditions. So if you don't really understand what you're getting into or what you're holding, a 15 to 20% drop can feel like the end of the world. Next thing you know, you panic sell and capitulate, and then you're kicking yourself whenever price moves back up to where you bought it or in what would be profit. Then you start revenge trading and you see the downwind effects of that, and so on. Before you know it, the market's taking advantage of your fragility and you leave crypto down 75%, talking about how it's a scam. Crypto as a scam can be a topic for another video, of course, but sound investing should keep you out of a lot of those situations. Understanding the investment does not eliminate the risk, but it does reduce the panic involved. When you understand the narrative, the mechanics, and what actually invalidates your thesis, you stop reacting to every move that the market makes. It also helps to have people to talk to that have been there. And that's part of my inspiration behind this channel too. Crypto is very isolating by nature. You can ask my friends. I used to hang out with people. Now I sit in my room for 16 hours a day and do nothing but crypto. On the other side of that, like people look confident online and people only post their wins, with a view of very few solid exceptions. Some people actually do post their losses and it's very admirable, but most of the influencers you follow are not going to do that. So you're kind of stuck on an island and you're looking around and seeing everybody else winning and wondering what the hell's going on. Whenever you're in this isolation, that fear compounds and small moves against you can feel catastrophic. Most people don't necessarily panic because price drops. They panic because they have no grounded perspective on what's happening. And this is why I like to praise the arc so much for my evolution. I'm not going to get into details about them now, but I fell into these exact same traps. Listening to people online, buying into hype on X, and expecting to become rich overnight. I've been there. I get it. Part of my growth is learning how to take a step back and really analyze what I'm doing and why. And community plays a huge role in that. Community is one of the most important pillars to being fulfilled in crypto. And no, I don't mean those groups that call out random tokens and like, hey, go buy this. Those call groups, we've all seen them. Uh, Pay the subscription fee. We'll give you, when to go buy and sell. That doesn't work. A real community doesn't tell you what to buy and when. A real community will help you stay rational, give you context, help you slow down and evaluate things, and remind you why you entered the space, why you got into crypto. Again, I'll get into more about the ARC and other communities I'm involved with in time, but I want you to get to know me a little bit more before I start shilling whatever I'm involved in. But just know this: alignment beats information every time. Crypto does not reward the smartest people. It rewards the most grounded. If you can't sit with uncertainty, no upside is ever going to feel like enough. See, understanding creates patience, and patience creates staying power. Hopefully, on this journey with me, you can gain some more understanding of the market, of the opportunities, and of yourself. Until next time, peace.